and welcome to Basement Movie Room. Back to Basement Movie Room. Hopefully you're a return viewer coming back for another video. I think we're kind of becoming Vinegar Syndrome reviews on this channel because we've done a couple of Vinegar Syndrome, 3 at this point. We did Champagne and Bullets, Resurrection, and most recently, The Amazing New York Ninja. My wife will probably comment and say, no, you sucked, you shouldn't watch that, it's terrible, and I paid too much money for it, but I did not. Definitely not. So this time we're back with another Vinegar Syndrome review, and this is...
because you gave me a copy.
I got 2 copies. One's damaged, but you got it.
Yeah.
But this time, it's one I got in a package with Resurrection and Champagne and Bullets. I bought both of those with this one. It was Devil's Story.
Yes.
Or it's Devil's Story, not Devil's Story. Or maybe it's both. So I don't know how this is coming through, but that is the box art from the slipcover from Vinegar Syndrome. There's the back.
Love the artwork.
Yeah, the artwork is amazing. I mean, you've got the big monster here with an SS jacket on, carrying a tactical shotgun.
Judge a book by its cover.
I'm going to tell you, 2 of the 3 things on this cover are not in the film. That shotgun is one of them, and that look that you're getting right there is the other one. But this is amazing. This cover is amazing. And you know, you follow it up inside the slip, you get the same artwork, of course. This movie is 76 minutes long.
Yeah.
So it's a quick watch for anybody who's interested in watching it. And if you're into this type of cinema like I am and like I'm getting you into at this point.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely getting an itch for it.
You're going to want to see this one. So Devil's Story opens up with our monster character. Literally nothing is told about the movie until the monster character appears and starts killing people. You get him...
First dialogue, I don't think you get until at least 15 minutes
10 to 15 minutes in, yeah.
That's
So the
great.
opening of the movie, you got the monster coming out of a tent. The tent pulls off of a guy who he's stabbed to death. And he's got a knife. And he's bloody. And the guy's like, they love the blood spurts in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
The guy's spurting blood from his chest constantly. And then he runs in the woods, runs upon another camper. I assume this camper was going back to the other one, because it was a woman, and the guy, he killed a guy first. Comes up on another woman, kills her as well with a spiked hand.
She was collecting firewood.
She was collecting firewood.
And skipping through the woods.
He has this spiked hand. You see the spiked hand because he puts it on a tree, and you see it, and I'm like, that's going to come into play. So that he like slashes her across the face, and it kills her, sort of. She falls down, and then he like starts punching her in the back of the head with it and kills her. And you get more blood spurts out of the back of her head, in which you can see the tube that's spurting blood on the back of her head. You also pointed out you could see like the mask kind of coming out of his shirt, and then you get 2 different shots too. Yep. You get like some reshoots that must have happened where there's this pendant around his neck that's holding the mask down, and most of the time that pendant's not there. He's wearing an SS jacket, Nazi jacket, which this was shot in Normandy, France, so a Nazi jacket makes sense there, but there's going to be something that comes up later that kind of makes less sense.
Yes.
And then he kills another individual that he's on the side of the road. This individual gets out and runs across, like it's looking for gas or something, I guess. He kills 2 more.
Yeah, they ran out of gas.
And that is actually the director of the movie that he kills there. So he comes up and he just stabs him too. Yeah. And that's like the first dialogue in the movie is what that guy says to him. Yeah. And we didn't even have the subtitles on at that point. We actually had to turn the subtitles on.
I don't think it mattered.
It didn't matter. There's like maybe 30 lines of dialogue.
I don't think we needed to turn anything on for this movie.
No, there's maybe 30 lines of dialogue. So from there, none of that really matters. No. The opening of the movie doesn't really matter. I guess it's just setting up our evil villain, which ultimately doesn't end up, spoilers, being the evil villain of the movie, ultimately. So after that, you jump over to this couple that's driving down roads. They're in a Mercedes with Florida license plates for some reason. It's a French movie.
The what state?
The Palm State. Which
State.
Is not the Florida name. It's the Sunshine State.
I don't understand.
So we're like,
unless there's something like that in France.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah. This is clearly supposed to be France. We don't understand why there's a Florida license plate at all. I mean, did the director just say, "Ooh, let's make this a more American movie, make it Florida"? So it's not Florida. And then so they have a blowout.
I guess to appeal to the American crowd.
I guess. I don't know.
I don't know.
Their tire blows out, in which there's actually no tire that's blown out on the car.
Yeah.
The guy gets out, and the girl in the
funny.
car.
You were just saying, oh, the guy's just swerving.
Yeah, he's just swerving.
Because
The
clearly
director's like,
he's
just swerve the car.
Yeah.
You know. So the girl gets out and then walks off and has like this vision of her hands being damaged, and says she doesn't want to go where they're going. It's very weird. There's no real plot to this movie.
Black cat shows up.
Black cat shows up for no reason.
Tons of shots of black cats.
Yeah, we were watching that newsreel on this DVD on the Blu-ray, and the newsreel's like, oh, typical horror movie affair, black cats and a masked villain, which apparently this was the first masked horror movie psychopath in a French movie, I guess.
French movie,
Yeah, it's interesting. So it was like 1985 is when they made this movie. So they end up, ultimately this couple ends up at this hotel, which looks more like a Gothic church.
Yeah, it was an amazing hotel.
It's amazing. And your favorite part,
yeah,
the Phantom of the Opera music plays. It's like, what is that? It plays a few times, multiple times.
Other shots.
So they go to the hotel, and there's these two crazy old people that run the hotel. One's like, he's got a knife, and there's a shotgun sitting up against the wall.
Yeah.
And there's a black horse running around that the hotel owner hates the black horse and wants to kill it. That turns into a whole thing that goes on, like, for most of the rest of the movie, trying to shoot this black horse. The black horse is actually the hero of the movie, I think, ultimately. Gets involved. There's a mummy. Yeah. There's a ship. There's a story about these 5 brothers, which one of them was absolutely a sister.
Yeah.
Like sinking ships to loot them and kill the crew, and then they get killed by this Condor ship, this ship called the Condor, but then when she found... You see it later, and it's Le Condor.
Yeah, as if English ship.
The English ship would have the French Le Condor on it. But yeah, I mean, it's like, it's crazy. This movie is crazy from front to back.
Entertaining, though.
It is entertaining, and it's entertaining in its badness. And like some people, like think in this documentary, some people say it's like the worst movie ever. And we saw that one guy. It's like, no, it's not, because, and I'll say this for every bad movie that we watch. The movie was only bad when it came out. The people making this movie put their heart into this movie, you know, and they thought it was going to be good. And maybe it didn't turn out that way.
Yeah, they talked about rivaling the Americans.
Rivaling the Americans. That was funny from the director.
Yeah,
to rival the American horror movie. And they were aping Friday the 13th, Halloween, that kind of...
Yeah, there are a few shots from...
the first especially.
The first or second.
Definitely look like... Yeah.
Where they're walking through the woods, and it's that point of view.
Mm-hmm.
No, you know.
The first person point of view of the killer.
That was in the very beginning.
Yeah. The movie kind of goes off the rails at the very beginning. Yeah. I was really into it. Like, I was like, are we just going to watch a whole movie of this guy just randomly killing a bunch of people? And I was like, that'd be okay. But it goes off the rails from there. And you get this couple, and basically the female of the couple leaves the hotel in the middle of the night and follows the old man who owns the hotel out of the hotel. You have the secondary storyline of our monster here and his mother burying their sister, who looks exactly like the woman who's staying at the hotel. It's convoluted. There's no real way to explain this plot other than, like, there's a lot of stalker killer stuff, which is not ultimately that scary. You have the fall down scenes, running and falling, and you have that whole scene with the horse being the hero attacking our masked man here. It's not masked. That's supposed to be what he looks like. He's deformed. But, you know, you have the fight between the horse and the bad guy, and the gypsy mother who gets killed, and the mummy comes out of nowhere. They do at least set up the mummy, I guess. Yeah. Because they say that ship was carrying an Egyptian treasure, and then you got a sarcophagus that comes out. And it opens, and the mummy comes out, and then I realized it's just the front of a sarcophagus. There's nothing behind it. There's just the wood from the case it was in behind it. And I was like, you get a lot of that. You get a lot of, like, mistakes. I mean, we're not like champagne and bullets taking the drink out of somebody's hand type mistakes.
The miniature ship coming.
The miniature. I do.
A little practical effects.
I do give them the practical.
There was that ship at the end that looked pretty good.
Yeah, that was the same ship. It was just static, which makes it look a lot better.
It looked really good.
It looked better because it wasn't pushing through a small sand hill. It was just sitting there, being static, and there was nothing to kind of compare it to. It looked a lot better. I commend them on attempting the practical effects. I mean, it's not like they're working with like Rick McCallum here doing practical effects for Star Wars.
The last practical effect that they had.
Oh, really good. Now I'm not going to spoil that because that comes out of nowhere at the very end.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
It's a pretty cool effect. It was pretty cool, like the very end. But the very end also
it's probably the best.
It's like a rewind too. It like rewinds and starts the movie all over again, basically. It's weird.
Yeah,
it's very weird. So I mean, I don't really have much else to say. There's.
Sorry.
He's the Old Spice guy. So I don't have much else to say about it because there's not much else to say. I mean, it's a watch if you're into this kind of stuff, like bad movies that have, like I said, every bad movie deserves a chance. There's some that really just are terrible and you're never going to want to see them. There's no reason to see them probably. But things like this, there's reasons to see it because you're like sitting there like, oh, what were they thinking?
Like,
what are they doing?
They made this into a movie?
Yeah.
Oh,
and it's
okay. But it did draw you in a little bit.
Yeah. So. Yeah, it's an interesting premise. I'll give it that. There's no real score. I think the whole score was just stolen.
The Phantom.
The Phantom of the Opera.
That's basically it. Or some generic.
Yeah, some generic rockish music type, like synth music in the background too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no score to speak of.
No, je ne sais pas.
I did not know what to rate this.
I did not know to give this.
I mean, I think the makeup was good. It wasn't.
I guess we got to start doing a vinegar.
Yeah, the vinegar scale, like we did with New York Ninja, movie rating plus fun to watch rating.
We'll do a vinegar scale.
Yeah, this one
is good, and it only goes up to 2.5.
The fun scale still goes to 5. So I think we can rate this one. I don't have much else to say about it. It's worth watching. I'll let you go first because I don't know what to do.
On a vinegar scale?
You do both. Do the vinegar scale. That's the fun.
I love how you're throwing in a little French accent when you're talking.
The vinegar scale.
Hey, just do balls.
Yeah, you do the balls.
Hey,
Hey. That's kind of a tie-in. That's a little tie-in at that point.
Yeah. It's two years of French didn't work for me.
Yeah.
But,
bonjour.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta go with like a 1.5.
On which scale? Like the vinegar scale or the actual movie scale?
No, actual movie, it's below, it's barely, it's probably a 0.4. But on a vinegar scale, it's 1.5.
Out of 5?
Out of 5.
It's pretty low.
Yeah.
See, I'm at like
because we've seen a few.
Yeah, I mean it's at a 0.5 on the standard movie scale. I mean, there's no doubt it's a piece of crap.
I'll give it an extra point on the vinegar scale.
Yeah, it's terrible
because it's still
0.5 on the actual movie scale. However, I'm at a 3 on the fun scale because it is fun enough. I think it's fun.
Yeah,
and that's a big disagreement between us. I think it's fun. I think it's fun to watch. I think it's good for a laugh. I don't think it's a good movie.
Oh, we were making jokes.
Yeah, no, it's that kind of movie. It's a movie you get like a bunch of people who understand what you're doing together, not like my wife who doesn't understand what we're doing.
Oh, I'll give it a 2 then on a fun scale.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it the 3 still.
On a fun.
I think it's worth watching, especially if you're a fan of Vinegar Syndrome. You already are going to watch this if you're a fan of Vinegar Syndrome stuff. If I can convince you to check out vinegarsyndrome.com, right now it's Black Friday sale, I think, still going on with them. Although some stuff's not discounted. I don't think this one's discounted. But yeah, check it out. It's worth watching for a good bad time. So, anything else?
No.
All right. We'll see you next time on Basement Movie Room.
Cheers.
Salut!
Salut! Hey, I forget my French.